Will this tape teach me how to properly spatchcock a turkey and appease the gods of American football? I am Tape Goat. Grab yourself a dead-ass bird, shove some stuffing up its tuchus, and you're almost there. Today we're going to talk about William Bradford, the first Thanksgiving.
My name, Bradford. William Bradford. Me, small man.
Here we have the tape, everybody. We've got Squanto and Billy Bradford about to give each other a little kiss. A little elbow rub, getting a little cozy. And I mean, look at Squanto. Who could resist Squanto? And for the first time in a while, oh my God, people, we got a barcode right there. This thing was sold in the market. Booyah. A lot of mention of God in the synopsis, even though this isn't really supposed to be explicitly religious. But hey, Richard Rich is a Mormon, so he's got to figure out a way to inject that message. What I presume is a second grade teacher whose last name is Highland has written their name on the bottom of this tape because they're worried people will steal it, I suppose. Maybe it cost big money back in the day. Oh yeah, and while we're looking at the back here, if you look, it's real itty bitty. But they have the runtime, 30 minutes. Another digestible one. We pop that tape out. As you can see here, people, I've struck gold again. They printed the label right onto the tape, everybody. They printed the label right onto the tape. And there you have it, everybody. The tape. Thanksgiving. Here in the Northern Americas, we know it well, and we celebrate with gusto, shoving food into our fat fucking mouths all the livelong day. Many of us who grew up in the States were fed a very specific history about the first Thanksgiving, specifically about these rascally pilgrims and how they befriended the American indigenous to throw the dinner party of the ages. Nowadays, it's mostly a time where you get together with the family members you would probably rather not speak to, and you get all bloated off of beer and turkey and shit. For the first time in Tape Goat history, we have a returning talent in our midst. This tape was made by our old pal, Richard Rich. Don't remember Richard Rich? Well, he's the charming Mormon fellow who made the Joseph Smith story.
I'm going to cut through all the skin and muscle, drill into the bone, and then saw through pieces of it. I'll need to bind you to the bed.
He was also an animator for Disney who brought us such classic films as The Fox and the Hound and The Black Cauldron. Two absolute bangers. Based on the content of this tape, his favorite theme is white people just trying to be their best Christian-ass selves. This tape begins with a high-stakes nighttime covert mission.
That's the last one. Quickly now. The king's men will soon be upon us.
William Bradford and his other white Bible babies are trying to haul ass out of England, against the wishes of the king, who doesn't like the way that these Christians Christian. They're making moves to get to Holland, so they can worship God outside of the bounds of the Church of England, and presumably, get high as balls.
On to Holland.
On to Holland.
What you say?
But guess what? That ain't happening.
We're ready to sail. Bring in the anchor.
I'm afraid that I cannot do.
And you know what? They deserve it. You're telling me that you trust that shifty bitch? He's straight up to no good. Big yikes.
Arrest them.
All we wanted to do was to go somewhere and worship God in peace.
Next time you see our hero, he's on a boat to America. Hell yeah. In reality, the Pilgrims did in fact make it to Holland, where they lived and worshipped freely. But they were concerned about a war with Spain, and they were worried that they would be wiped out by Catholic inquisitors. Those Catholic bitches. Plus, they didn't like the way that their kids were being all Dutch and shit. The average male in the Netherlands is about 6'2", be shorter. Anyway, Billy Boy and his people dipped the ever-living F out of Dodge. Of course, once they're on the ship, these people be tripping trying to jack their jack.
Captain says all useless weight has got to go.
Useless? It's to help us build our church.
All the more reason to get rid of it, you worthless separatist.
Billy Boy ain't having it. He gives those English piggies wet fur.
Quiet now. Quiet, I say. Go your way now.
Stinking pilgrims.
But after a storm caves in the hull, they're about ready to turn back.
We can't turn back, Captain Standish.
I'm in charge of your survival. We're going back to England.
Where will we live? We have no homes in England. We have no friends.
But as fate would have it, the jack is exactly what they need.
The entire deck has to be lifted, Mr. Bradford. It takes more than hammer and nails.
Would this help?
Guess God does love these silly pilgrims, little scamps. After much ado and shitting of pants, likely because of dysentery, they finally reach land.
Land.
They form a little government, electing John Carver as their first governor. They then proceed to continue dying a lot.
More than half of the 100 souls who came to America have died. And of those who struggle on, there are at times only 6 or 7 strong enough to bury the dead.
Because that was the style back in the 17th century, you can't question it. The Pilgrims are pretty much shit at everything. Not to mention they're constantly under siege by the local indigenous villages.
There! What have they come? In the tree! Quickly!
Fire in the air!
But Billy sees a way the others don't see.
Be hard to keep the Indians out, though.
That's all right. I hope to make friends with the Indians.
You what?
They know the land. They can help us get through the winter.
He is just a little extra not racist for the time. Finally, they manage to bridge a gap with the Wampanoag people.
Tell Chief Massasoit, yes, we will meet him. We want peace with Wampanoag people.
Good. Massasoit, come.
Getting introduced to Squanto, who is a Pawtuxet who is living amongst the Wampanoag. Billy Boy comes on real strong with the microaggressions at first.
Me? Small man. Not big man. Governor Carver. Big man. Governor means...
A mouth is good enough for speaking, William Bradford.
But pretty soon they end up building a rapport, and William learns about Squanto's backstory. And to the credit of the filmmakers, it does reflect some reality as to how Squanto was a victim of abuse at the hands of European colonizers.
One day, a white man took me, tied me, put me on ship. My mother cried. Later, I came back to this place. My people were gone. All died.
War?
War with sickness, William. White man's sickness.
Having said that, it's hard to make the case that there isn't any exploitation going on. William Bradford did refer to Squanto as his special instrument. Squanto comes to learn of the white people's general shabbiness at pretty much everything, and agrees to teach them the ways of the Wampanoag.
You plant too deep.
So the birds won't find them.
Sun also won't find them.
This inevitably leads to the trademark Richard Rich third act Song of Cringe.
Give me a hand and I'll give you a hand. That makes 2, then 3, then 4.
But it's not all fresh and gravy, people, because we can't have the vibes being too good. Old Johnny Carver's bum heart takes a crap.
No good, William. This man means to die.
It is after this that William Bradford becomes the governor of Massachusetts and brings into existence the first Feast of Thanksgiving.
That every fall at the close of harvest, we set aside a day of feasting. Not a feast of gluttons or of fools, but a feast of thanksgiving. To honor God, for surely without him, we would not be.
All was well for about an afternoon. And then America happened. So there you have it, everybody. The first Thanksgiving. Except for, if truth is being told, it actually totally isn't. The first Thanksgiving ever recorded was said to be celebrated by the crew of the Margaret, who threw a feast of thanks upon arriving safely in what we now know as Virginia. So this tape is a big old fat lie.
Quiet now. Quiet, I say.
Thanks for watching, everybody. I am Tape Goat, and remember, please remember what happens when you deep fry a frozen turkey. Remember.